welcome back to the Corporate Burnouts. Hey, Mandy, how are you?
Doing so good. How are you?
I'm so better.
You're so better.
I'm so
Your
better.
power is on.
Listen, I got power back like moments ago. It
Mhm.
went off in a storm Sunday night. It is now Wednesday. Listen, I'm very blessed. I don't want to be dramatic about it. Like, we have a portable air conditioning unit. We blocked off the living room. The generator is running, the freezers, and I'm fine. I'm fine. So,
Well, but you should have seen everybody what she was like literally 7 minutes ago. She was like on the verge of tears about everything because it really does break you down when you don't have power for 3 days. I have never had that happen, but I can imagine that it feels ugh, you know?
yeah, I had my head wrapped around not having power for a while because we knew waking up Monday morning with no power, we knew that it was going to be Tuesday night. They said Tuesday night by 10 o'clock. So in my brain, by the time I go to bed last night, it's going to be fine. I'm going to wake up and we're going to have a day today.
Mhm.
And I woke up today and there was no power. And then the generator was going, it was fine, but I had to go buy more gas to be able to put into the generator to make
Mhm.
it through today. And it just, I am woman, hear me roar. I could do hard things. I know this. And I love the fact that Chase is out of town and I've been figuring it out. Like, don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. He got me set up before he left, but I've been figuring it out and it's fine. I'm fine. But my mindset was fixed to 10 p.m. on Tuesday,
Yeah.
not 1 p.m. on
Yeah,
Wednesday.
it started to feel a little unfair. But then you should have seen her whenever it came back on. We were already on. We hadn't started recording yet. And she's like, it's on. And then you
I
have a
know.
happy Mandy
I'm pretty
finally.
sure I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, this would have been a whole different episode. You would have seen sad panda Mandy. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's all good. I'm really excited that your power's back on because that was something.
Yeah,
It's hard.
it's been a thing. I can't wait to get the mattress out of the living room floor and put the house back together. So it's fine. I'm even excited about doing that work. But
Hmm. Yeah, put it
you
all back
have
together.
recently done a lot of work. You've been fixing up your condo to sell, and it is
Yes.
finally on the
Yes.
market. Are you relieved?
I am. I am relieved. So we had renters for a long time
Mhm.
and we decided to sell this summer. And so Dan has been fixing it all up, doing a lot of painting. We got new carpet. We, like just fixed it all up, cleaned it all up.
Yep.
Really nice. And got it on the market. And it is a relief to get it on the market. It is not like, and I think, so we asked our realtor, we said, hey, this is going to be ready right about the 4th of July. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So should we, the week of the 4th, put it on the market or should we wait and put it on the market after? Like, is there going to be, because you don't want to have nobody looking for the week of the 4th and then it comes back, it's not new, it's not a new listing.
Yep.
So it's not being seen. And he said, no, holiday weeks are good. So I either think he's wrong or nobody wants to see my place because we've only had one person in a whole week
Oh,
come
wow.
and walk through it. So that is difficult, but I don't know, the same place exactly as mine, except for, backwards,
Uh-huh.
just sold like last month. And so I was really hoping that people were going to be like, shit, I missed out on that one. And now here's another one
Yeah.
ready for
Ooh, we'll
me,
scoop this one up.
you know?
Yeah. Well, and that remains to be seen. You're right. He could have been totally wrong about a holiday week. You never know. And this market is crazy. Like, houses
Mhm.
are going like moments after they're listed, but they're also sitting
Mhm.
forever and ever and ever in other
Mhm.
circumstances. What I love about your house, though, is that while it has a ton of personality, it doesn't have a ton of personality. Right?
Mhm.
Like,
It can be, yeah.
I can go in there and make that mine.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, my brother and sister-in-law were trying to sell their house, and I'm like, good luck. Your cabinets are emerald green.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
it's not
realtors
for
were like, that's
everybody.
going to be hard. That's going to be hard. And they're like, we literally, like, we loved it. We repainted that. We paid to repaint it. Like, it's perfect. They're like, I'm not painting the freaking cabinets to sell this
Mhm.
house. Like, somebody will love it.
Yeah.
They're renting it out now. And it's
Mhm.
working out in a strangely sort of divine situation that's good.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like there's so much possibility with your condo. It's gorgeous as it is. You can just, add your stuff, add your personal flair and make it your own. Or you can look at it like it's a blank canvas that you can do anything with. And
Yep.
so I think that you just need to like have a little bit of patience. The right
Yeah.
people will come along
I am
because it's a
patient.
perfect little spot.
Yeah.
And Newtown, like,
Yeah. It's a
so
great
nice.
spot, but it is for the right people
Hmm.
because it is not an excellent family home, right?
Yeah.
It's not perfect for you have two parents, two kids. It's three bedrooms, but one of the bedrooms is all the way downstairs. So
It's
this is
two
a three
stories below the
it's
master. Yeah.
yes, it's three stories, which is another thing that makes people feel a certain way because not everyone wants all those stairs. So there's things about it that are really freaking cool. But
Hmm.
it's for the right person who is
Yep.
like, I want all of these stairs and I only need two bedrooms and the other one can be an office. That's the perfect spot for an office, you know? So it has to be the right person. And
Yep.
I understand that. I bought it knowing that it was perfect for me, is exactly what I wanted. So yeah, so I went on my realtor's social media because I was going to share their post instead of making my own post. And they they had someone come in and take excellent pictures and
Yep.
all of that stuff. But they took the pictures and some AI company, or they did, I don't know, made it into an AI video. And as I said, my place is three stories. It's ginormous, right? It's like it's straight up and down and it's a
Uh-huh.
shotgun, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a cool freaking place. And it only had two stories in the video. And I was like, hey, this video, it was made by
A little
AI, obviously.
misleading. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple things about it that are just completely wrong because AI decided that that's probably what it was based off the pictures that they had, you know? Anyway, they took that down and made a different one, I guess. But
AI man.
yeah, but it's like there are really, really excellent things about it, and there are things where it's still really behind, because all it knows is what you tell it, or what it can go and find. So, because they didn't have a picture that showed all three stories, it didn't know.
It just assumed. Yep.
Yep.
And AI be assuming a
Yes.
lot. Or referring back to conversations that you're like, that's not even what I was talking. What?
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fear around AI. There's a lot of frustration when it gets it wrong.
Mhm.
I can't stand some of the things that I see out of AI, and some things I'm like, holy cow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So, the feedback, mass feedback anyway, is
It's
all over the
mixed.
board.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is why I'm so excited to talk to an expert in the subject because we are not. We are experiencing it in real time and learning as we go, like the rest
Mhm.
of you.
Yeah.
So,
And we did an episode a while back, and we will tag that in this episode about AI. But this one is going to be a lot more fact based
yeah.
and from somebody who is an expert in AI. And I'm so excited to talk to her. So, should we bring Kelly in?
Yeah. Let's talk to Kelly.
All right. Welcome to the podcast, Kelly.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. All right. Dr. Kelly Monahan is an organizational psychologist, keynote speaker, and author focused on the future of work, leadership, and AI-driven workforce transformation. She is the founder of Beyond the Desk and previously led future of work research at Meta, Upwork, Accenture, and Deloitte. Kelly is the author of the best-selling book Essential and the forthcoming book Reclaim the Plot: How Leaders Rewrite the Story When AI Rewrites Work. Her work helps leaders understand how AI, changing worker expectations, and new organizational realities are shaping how we lead, work, and create value. Thank you for joining us, Kelly.
Thanks so much for having me today.
Yeah. All right. Well, we really just want to dig all the way into who
Okay.
you are, where you came from, how you know so much about AI. Tell us
Yeah.
all of it.
Oh, totally. So I am from a town called Rochester, New York, and hopefully most people have heard of it because of
Yeah.
Kodak. Back in the day when we were using, nice cameras. And so it's interesting, like during a formative age, so call it middle school, junior high, I was looking around me in my classroom and kept seeing students not show up the next day. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, what was happening is Kodak was shedding 45,000 jobs during that time period. And so to this day, Rochester stays in somewhat like a recessionary environment because it's never been able to rebound from that devastation. So at a young age, growing up in a community, in a family where job loss was so fearful all the time, like that dominated the conversation. So
Mhm.
I said to my young self, Kelly, you're going to go into HR. You're going to go figure out how to engage employees and develop leaders. Like, we're going to figure out the good people side of the business so this doesn't keep happening. Swear to God, my very first assignment was a reduction in workforce. So
Ugh,
I'm like, you've
Oh,
got to be kidding me.
hate it.
Oh, it was terrible. And so it was a technology, I call it like infant AI, but it was called robotic process automation. And we, the company I was working at realized, hey, we don't need a call center anymore or operations. We can outsource and automate all of this work. So, from that time period, I was like in my late 20s doing that project. I realized we still don't understand how technology is changing jobs. And so that's why I've devoted the last 15 years as a researcher studying primarily AI and what it's doing to organizations and jobs, because it's continuing to be very disruptive.
Mm-hmm. You are exactly right. It is disrupting. It's also helping. And, it's making things easier for some people while making it harder for other people. People are either completely on board with how it can be so helpful, or they are on the other side of it, like it's destroying our environment, right? So we just have so many big feelings, really big feelings about AI and all
I
the.
yeah.
love the way
And
you just said that.
Mhm.
I think that a lot of people are scared of it because we don't know what we don't know. We know, well, a lot of people don't even really know what it's capable of right now. And where's it going to go? And how is that going to affect me? So it's preventing people from planning for the future because I don't know what that's going to look like professionally. I don't know what that's going to look like even personally, how that's going to impact our world. So it's kind of a big hot button conversation right now. I'm really excited about diving into the expertise that you have
Yep.
over, I mean, goodness, studying this for 15 years is freaking a lot. So
Before we knew that there was anything to study.
didn't even know it was coming.
Yeah.
And we're watching iRobot like this is, sci-fi. And turns out
Here we
real
are.
life over here. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So if someone ignores AI for the next 2 years, what happens to them professionally?
Man, listen, I'm going to just we're speaking truth here, right? Of like what's
Yes. Yep.
happening behind the scenes. So
Mhm.
the goal, I think people need to realize leaders are operating in a really difficult macroeconomic environment. So they're looking for ways to save money right now. Like that is the name of the game. It's a little bit less of how can I innovate and find growth. It's much more like how do I actually stay in business and cut cost? AI is seen as a lever to cut cost. And that cost is going to come from workforce payroll. And so the number one thing I think people need to do is in order to stay relevant, in order to stay ahead of this curve, is to learn and adopt AI so they can begin to figure out what can AI do better than I can at this job. And then you know what you're going to find on average? It's going to do about 33%, a third of your job better than you can. So what do you do with that newfound free capacity and time? You have to go learn and evolve to stay ahead of this. This is a massive change. I would equate it to, similar to the Industrial Revolution, similar to when the internet came out. And the
Yeah.
problem is people will be left behind if they don't stay on top of this.
Mhm. And that's exactly how I see it. Because the only thing I can compare it to is the internet, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And the people, I mean, my dad still has never been on the internet.
Yes.
You're
Same.
kidding.
Never
Stop.
once. He has a flip phone and he doesn't use it unless he is leaving the house, right? But he has never been on a computer. He has never, and that's the way this side of it, right? Most
Yeah.
people have some
Yeah.
sort of, at least with a smartphone, have
Yeah. My
been
dad
a
has a
part of.
smartphone, so there's that.
Right. Yes. But it's just, it's crazy. If my dad was completely on his own,
Mhm.
I don't think that he could stay alive for a very significant amount of time. You know what I mean? Like it
Mhm.
that scares me, like that's kind of
Yeah,
scary
yeah.
because everything he doesn't know how to do so many things. Like he
Yeah.
knows that he can get on the phone. If I don't even, do they still make a phone book? Like how does he find the phone numbers? I guess they still have a phone book, or he could drive himself to something
Sure.
to get the service that he needs. But
Life would just be so hard for him.
yes. Yes. And luckily my mom knows all of the things, and so she
Got it.
handles all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been able to continue to live in the Stone Ages, and that's absolutely that's fine for them, right? But is AI going to do the same thing? You know what I mean? Like gonna make it
Mhm.
so that you are almost obsolete. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like if you
totally.
don't know how to use this, I can't imagine it, because we haven't seen where it's going, but when I compare things to the internet and how it just changes the game so completely,
Oh, 100%.
I'm like, that's a little scary.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, can you imagine having a business today without the internet? Like, I'm not even sure that could
No.
really
I mean,
exist.
no,
Like,
and
even like
obviously
mom and
ours
pop
is
stores.
completely digital, but yes.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Like what you
Mhm.
guys are doing, 100. What I do is, I've got to fly every, once in a while I get to keynotes, but like for the most
Mhm.
part, also much of my work is done. So the fact and we're just been operating this way for less than 20, 25 years. It's not like, oh, well, this is how we've done it for the last, like, this is actually still a very short period of time.
Yeah.
We've gone through this
Yeah.
huge transformation of like, you can no longer just be a localized business. You have to be connected to the web. The
Mhm.
exact same thing is going to be true with AI. You will not be able to gain competitive advantage, both as an organization or an individual, if you are not using AI. And
Mhm.
this is why. The one thing that AI does is just like the internet connected all of us. We could now communicate and stay connected to a whole global consumer base. AI is democratizing, giving everyone access to tremendous level of intelligence and expertise. And so it is a superpower of intelligence that you now have at your fingertips. You will never be able to outcompete someone who has that level of intelligence and speed for someone who's not.
Mhm.
Yeah, it kind of levels the playing field a little bit because it puts it at all
100%.
of our
Mhm.
fingertips.
Yep, but you also do, hold on real quick, you do though have to
You have to know
not
how to
just know
use
how to
it.
use it, but I think that what I'm noticing, kids today are not as
Yeah.
good of problem solvers. I think that parents have
Oh,
become their kids' problem solvers, and I feel like with AI, I have to know something. I have to know how to dig and how to research to really get the answers that I need to get it to do what I need it to do. And so I think that problem solving has to be there too. Like, you have to be able to do that to be able to use this incredible tool. Maybe not completely, but
I'm glad you said that, Mandy, because what I was about to say when you added that was speaking of the internet age and like
hmm
that happened in our formative years as
yep,
mhm,
an elder millennial, if you will.
absolutely.
Do you think that based on all of the change, to your point, it's only really happened in the last 20, 25 years. Do you think that we have an upper hand or perhaps, it will affect generations differently based on those those factors? I mean, Mandy's talking about the kids today, younger generations that these older millennials have been doing a lot of hand-holding and problem solving for their kids and we're raising kids differently. Do you think this is going to be easier or harder or how that will affect generations?
I think it's a great question. And I think the research is actually somewhat surprising here.
Okay.
So, as you think about who's most excited about AI today, it's actually not the young people, it's the older generation. And I
mhm,
think it's because the older generations in leadership positions, and again, trying to cut costs and find ways to transform business. And so, like, they're super excited about AI. When you go to Gen Z, the more they're using AI, they're actually less excited they are about it. And so it's almost like they have a better sense of how fake sometimes this technology can be and the
mhm,
outputs it's giving. And also, I think a bigger fear that it may commoditize their ability to go get a job. And like, is it
Yeah. Yeah,
commoditizing the
it's
wrong thing? And I
fear.
think Gen Z seems eyes wide open about it. Also, as an elder millennial, I think we are like in the most terrible situation along with Gen X
That's what I
because,
was like trying not
right?
to lead you to that, but like it's
Yeah. Because we're
scary.
sandwiched between the two generations. We're sandwiched between the baby boomers who have designed work a certain way. We've been like trying to follow and keep up and get our promotions and, stay pace.
mhm,
And now the whole world is being rewritten once again, just like when we were first entering to the workforce.
Mhm.
And then you've got Gen Zers coming in being like, you know what? Your work system here broken. I'm opting out. I don't want to take part of it. This AI, I'm not going to teach AI my expertise. Like, why would I do that? And so it's like we're caught between the leaders being like, hey, if you want to stay employed and you want to get promoted, you need to be adopting AI and pushing this transformation through, to the next generation saying, I'm not sure this is fully for me.
yeah,
Yeah, it's almost like we need to be fully prepared to go one direction or the other.
Sure.
We either need to
Right,
go
mhm,
right,
back
right.
to our roots for the future, but in the meantime, stay up on AI so that we make our way with the baby boomers while they're still in leadership.
But I
yeah,
do think, yeah, I would just, yeah, I think that's probably true. I would just say I don't I don't think there's going to be going back. Like, I don't think we can put the
Yeah.
genie back in the bottle with this particular
No.
one. And I think the
No.
question becomes like, not to get whatever, but like, I actually think there's just like a huge moral question as part of all of this of like, how do
Yes,
we
for
adopt
sure.
AI in the most humane way possible?
Mhm.
And I think that's what Gen Z is pushing for is, hey, like, we're fine with technology. Like, they probably know how to use it better than all of us anyways.
Mhm.
But they're eyes wide open of the consequences of that. So it's kind of like a funny spot to be in.
Which
Mhm.
is weird
But
with
they
Yep.
care
limited life
about
experience, but yeah,
they care more about everything, I think, in general. What I wanted to find out is because
Mhm.
I think that there's a misconception and people think that AI is going to take over your job, but
Mhm.
really it's people who know how to leverage and use AI who are going to take over your job and potentially leave you behind if you don't get on board with it. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we're in a really interesting labor market right now. So for like the last 20, 25 years, we've told everyone to go become coders and go get a STEM degree. So
Mhm.
we have, and those were like where the highest paying jobs are, right?
Mhm.
Like back in the day, you either wanted to be a lawyer, a doctor, and then it was like you got to go work in tech if you want to make
Mhm.
crazy money. And so we had a whole generation that went and did that. Now, the
Mhm.
problem is what AI is actually really good at. There's a couple of things: software,
Mhm.
engineering, and coding.
Mhm.
And so all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, now we have maybe too many software engineers. You've seen all the layoffs happening in the tech industry. Now what?
Yeah.
AI is also really good at, I don't know if this is like a PG-13 podcast, but
You can
this
say
is an
whatever you
actual
want.
technical term.
No, we say
Mhm.
fuck.
But okay, but like bullshit work, right? Like
Yeah.
it is really good at bullshit work. And a
Mhm.
lot of us, if we're going to be really honest with ourselves who are stuck in corporate America, take on a lot of bullshit work, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's like, are we adding value? I don't know. I do this every day. I check this box. I send this PowerPoint deck. I send these emails. I attend these meetings and I rinse and repeat and just keep going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
AI is going to automate all of the bullshit that we
Yep.
have spent like a whole career building up.
Yeah.
And so, as you think about this, if you are in your job every day and you think to yourself, I don't really know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't know what value I'm producing. That's like a big red flag that is ripe for automation. And that is what leaders are looking
Yep.
for is where can I automate the BS work that's taking place? Because you know
Yeah.
what? I don't want to pay a human anymore to do that. And
Mhm.
so I think
And that
that is the
human, oh, by the
concern.
way, doesn't want to do that work. It's just what they know.
Correct.
Mhm.
And this is
Yeah.
what drives me nuts because the leaders are like, oh, this is, who would want to do this job anyways? You guys designed this work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
this
but
is
we wanna
no
do
one.
anything that will pay
You
us
did.
$80,000 a year.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And now it needs to be $100,000 a year because the cost of living has gone up so much.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
Mhm.
I hear you. So the question is, let's just pretend the new wage in order to feel good about what you're doing is $100,000 a year, six-figure
Mhm.
job. That, my friends, is less likely to now be in computer-based work and much more likely to be in the trades, in the skilled apprenticeship, and in
Yes.
healthcare. And like
Mhm.
that is the mind shift paradigm that I think is going to blow people's minds. And that is like really difficult for everyone who has children today is I don't know how many more opportunities are going to be like what we had sitting in a queue, working on a computer, maybe scrolling through
Mhm.
Facebook half the day and being like, this is great. I'm making 100,000. That I think is the tension and the paradox that's beginning to come to kind of rear its
Mhm.
ugly head of what does that look like in the
Yeah.
future?
Yeah.
So
I've
this
got
is
a kiddo that wants to be a cosmetologist. And I'm like, you're going to struggle. You're going to be on your feet all day. Your back's going to hurt. Like, my sister's a cosmetologist. Like, I know what this life is. Are you sure? And she's
Yeah,
like, hey, I can't cut your hair. And I was like,
that's right.
it
She's
can't
not wrong.
you
it
got me
can't.
there, sis. You
Yes.
got me there.
Yeah.
All
But it
right. Follow
is
your dreams.
so we're, I don't know how much you know about us, but we do websites and social
Yep.
media and all of these digital things that AI can completely do at this point. It's still very apparent that it's AI.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
most people aren't doing it. But what I'll tell you is I have been using AI in my small business to create new services, right?
Ooh.
And
Yep.
and so that's been good because for a while I was like, at some point everyone's gonna know how to do their own websites using AI, and it's like, nope, that's not what's gonna happen because a lot of people are still gonna refuse to learn how to use AI and
Yep.
or they're not gonna be efficient at it.
Yep.
But there are gonna be more people who jump on and learn how to use it and now can do what we can do almost, right? Like we build things
Yep.
from scratch. So with a human design in mind.
Yep. Yep.
So I think that we are still head and shoulders above, but it's getting better, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
decided, as you said, AI is very good at software. It's good at
Yeah.
code, it's good at automations, and we found that out. And so I'm using it's called vibe coding, but
Yeah.
basically I use my problem solving skills to build you an automation for your business. And that has been
Oh.
so fun for me because I don't know how to code, right? I wasn't one of
Well,
the
of course.
people
Yeah.
who listened
Yeah.
and went and learned
Yeah.
code.
I only copy and pasted the code into my MySpace
Yes.
profile. That is my coding experience, you know?
To embed like the Napster audio player.
Yes, yes.
Yep. So, and we still get code from AI or Google to put
Mhm.
into our website sometimes, but it's very interesting because we are automating things for people, and this is what we're going to do on this front side, right? This is how
Yeah.
we're going to use AI to our benefit to help people have these big things that they want for a lot cheaper. Because if I built it from scratch, if I built a software from scratch, it would
Sure.
cost
Yeah.
$30,000-$50,000 because it would
Oh,
take
I
us
believe it.
thousands of hours, but we can do it in a week using
Yeah.
the vibe coding. And so that's where we're getting on the right side of this. But it takes us to do it. You know what I mean? Or not just
Right.
us, but people who know how to use AI to do it. You can't just be like, AI, go do this for me. It's like you do still have to have someone skilled in AI
Yeah.
to do it. And that is what I think your point was, and what I think people need to understand. It's you're not getting left behind by AI, you're getting left behind by not getting on board to learn how to use it in your favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's and there's 3 things that I want, like, your audience to think about because I think those are such a powerful real life example you gave. The very first thing is AI is gonna help you move faster. So do the exact same thing. If you're building websites, you now can build 10 websites in 1 week as opposed to maybe one that you were doing before. The second thing is it gives you scale, and so allows you to continue to grow your business and maybe even move into, a secondary market, doing the similar thing, but scaling it. And then the third thing is what you just described, which I love, is and then it also enables you to offer new services and offerings. And you
Mhm.
the faster you can get through speed, scale, and then scope change, that is where like the actual value comes in, and that's how you stay employed. So I love that example, and I want your audience to be thinking through that. If I'm doing the same thing and just faster, it's still right for automation, if that makes sense, right? Because you can
Yeah.
only do so many of the same thing faster. And so I love that example because it actually shows how you're using that to do something new and different.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, along those same lines, what skills would you say if I am that professional that's thinking these things through and going, oh my God, my job could totally be automated? I maybe am screwed in the next 5 to 10 years, depending on how fast this thing grows or how fast my leaders jump on board with the automation
Sure.
of AI. What sort of skill set would you tell people that would be important or imperative for them to master?
There's 2 things before we even get to the tech skills that are absolutely essential today. Number 1 is intellectual curiosity. That I think is what's missing from so many people because we're just so damn tired. Like people are exhausted, they're tired, they're burned out,
Hmm.
but we have to begin to get really curious of like the example, Mandy, that you just gave of like, what is my new service offering I can provide? How would I do this job differently so I actually feel comfortable that I'm going to be employed in the next 3 to 5 years? We have to get curious. What is AI? What can it do? What can it not do? Like that is like baseline.
Yeah.
The second thing is, as part of that, is making sure that we've developed that learning muscle. So many people have no longer learned. Like we have created work so that it's just task and execution oriented. It is not about evolving or learning. And so you have to remember how to learn again because this is a
Yeah.
huge learning phase we're all in. And then third is when you get into AI. And what's really important with AI is it's so much of it is based on statistics. And so the more that you understand statistics and probabilities, the more the AI no longer becomes this black mystery box of like, oh, this is a magic output. And the more you begin to understand, oh, when you start talking about vibe coding, here's a better way I can be actually giving my prompts because I understand the background of statistics.
Hmm.
And then finally, people are going to have to make decisions. Do you build your own AI agent? Do you buy an AI agent? Like what do you build or buy? And I think understanding if you're in marketer, as an example, what are the essential AI tools you need to have? And you got to probably be using at least 3 to 5 today because there's not a one size fits all here.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so you should all be using a general purpose technology like a chat GPT or a Claude. But then you also got to think like within your discipline, what are the website AI tools that you're using? What are the podcast AI tools? That sort of thing, because that's going to be a very specific set of tools that you're going to need to become an expert in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
That
much.
it's like it's exhausting just to think about. And I am a natural learner. I am one of those people that gets like I light up when I learn something new and can get deep off into a passion because I'm learning and growing. But like that's exhausting to even think about.
But there's
You're
some good
right. We're all
news.
just so damn tired.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not tired right now, you're not paying attention. I'll tell you that much. But the good thing is that we have to remember, because I think again, like we've gotten into such bad habits, right? Like the pandemic kind of gave us some bad habits too. Of like, just we started binge streaming Netflix, and just we work
I
all
thought you were going to
day
say
and then
binge drinking. I'm like, we
well,
did that too.
did that and
We
that
did
too,
that
and
in
that too.
COVID.
Binge drinks, all this stuff, a little bit of both. But the reality is, we are neurologically wired to learn and evolve as a species. And so like the
Mhm.
good news is if you can get over that initial hump of exhaustion, like, all right, I'm going to start learning again, you release dopamine and you release endorphins. And like
Yes.
these are like your body's actually rewarding you for doing this, just like it rewards you for
It's
exercising. And
exciting.
so it's the hardest thing
Yeah.
is the first week or two of starting to build that muscle, because it sucks and it hurts and it's sore. And you're going to be even more tired and ask yourself, is it worth it? But stay with it, because your body and your hormones are going to actually reward you for doing so.
Yeah, there is
I
definitely power in it.
Yeah, I think it's so much more, and this is sounds crazy, but it might
Yeah.
be so much more rewarding to learn things on AI too, because you get so much more information at a time. Like you don't have
Yeah.
to, if I'm reading
It's
a
faster.
book, it's going to take me a while to
Absolutely.
get all the takeaways, but I can literally, sometimes I'll be laying in bed. My husband can fall directly asleep. Like he's such a show
It's
off.
so rude.
Men.
I know. And so I just lay there and sometimes I'll read and sometimes, it depends, but sometimes I get, some I'm like, "Ooh, I want to learn about this. I want to find out how I
Yeah.
can make this better for this." And I will be so lit up when I go to sleep. It's like I needed to be inspired. And now I can just
Right.
fall right to sleep. Like it's so crazy, but I learned I learned a whole process of exactly how I'm going to take this all the way to this, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just getting 3 pages in to a
Yeah.
leadership book and now I'm asleep already,
Yeah.
it's like,
Totally.
so that has been really, I prefer to learn on AI, and I know that you have to take every single thing you learn with a grain of salt because it
Yeah.
can be wrong, like
Yeah.
it's not 100% true because not everything on the internet is true,
Sure.
and
Exactly.
that's
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 right.
where it's pulling from. It's interesting, but I think that really lights me up because I feel like I really learned like a whole something
Yeah.
all at
Totally.
once, So,
Love that.
mhm. All right. Well, so to stay relevant, you told us kind of what to do to stay relevant,
Yeah.
but let's say that you're thinking about leaving corporate,
Hmm.
or they have invited you to leave,
More and more, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because you are being replaced by automation and things. What can you do to use AI to your benefit to find your next move?
Yeah. I
Yeah, and
love this
just
because,
become
yeah.
indispensable.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, number one is AI is a fantastic coach. And so I think getting really good at understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, areas to improve your expertise. AI is really good at actually being a mirror back to what we've put into it, and even asking it, like all the time, I'd be like, if I was in that person's position, I'm transitioning out of corporate America. I've done XYZ job task for the last 15 years. Here's my resume. Here's a link to my LinkedIn page. What do you see as my top 3 strengths and what do you see as my top 3 weaknesses? Then develop a learning plan for me. How do I close the gap and how do I become even more marketable in whatever field it is? So let's just take a real life example of a project manager. So let's say you've been recently exited as a project manager. I would then also ask AI, how do I use AI to be a better project manager? What are the tools? What are the tips that I should be thinking through? And really using it as a learning partner to help you transition out, and then also to understand your opportunities that are before you. And then the other thing I think AI can be really good at is, you got to be careful, because the one thing you have to realize is everyone's using AI now. So like if you go on LinkedIn, I don't know if you could tell, about 90% of the post, it's very obvious everyone's using the same large language
Mhm.
model. So you have to make sure that you retain that level of human creativity, but use it as a first draft, have it review your resume, but then make sure you're adding your own flavor and your own spice. Because I'm telling you, as someone who just had a job post open and got 200 resumes in 5 hours, 50% of them, I'm like, you guys all have the same intro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah,
you
it was
know, so you
written by
got to
the
be
same guy.
all written by the same.
Yeah.
So you got to be
Mhm.
careful with that. And then the
Mhm.
third thing I would say, don't be afraid to use it for finding freelance work or entrepreneurship. Like AI is
Mhm.
allowing you access to create a business, small business, whatever that looks like, you know? And don't be afraid to take a bet on yourself. You know, you don't necessarily got to boomerang right back to a corporate job. There's a lot
Yeah.
of opportunities right now where, like, I actually think the future of work is small. I think small businesses, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs are going to start outperforming and actually providing better career stability than corporations will in the long run.
Yeah.
Well,
We
we
like
kind of
the way you
agree.
think
Yes, we kind of agree. We have to agree because this is where we live,
because
you
it's
know?
what we're
Yeah,
doing.
but yeah.
Yeah. But it's so funny. Okay, it's not funny, but on 4th of July, a storm kind of rolled in, and so a whole bunch of people end up in this big pavilion off of the boats because it was going to be a problem, you know?
Sure.
So we see some people that we've known for years, and the husband, he says, Mandy, can you use your podcast to find me a job? He got downsized. He was a project manager,
My God.
and his whole career has been consulting and, you know, all this stuff. Like,
Yep.
he's just, you know, he's probably a highly paid individual, you know, he's been
Yep.
in his career for a long time, and they were like, we can automate this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
And
that
use your podcast to get me a job.
And I feel terrible, but that's also why I use project manager as an example, because that's what I'm seeing on this side as well.
yes,
Like, it's a
it's
very
I
hard
mean,
hit profession.
yes, because it can be automated with different systems. Maybe not all of your project managers, but a lot of them, you know, like, can
Yeah.
be downsized. And I hate that because I feel like a project manager is somebody with a really serious skill. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and so it sucks that they have to be replaced by these automations. But what I told him, I said, listen, I bet that you are an incredible problem solver, and you understand how to create systems and make things work.
Mhm.
I was like, I recommend to you that you do something that I'm doing right now, which is vibe coding and helping other people create automations.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's something that he's interested in, but it's so interesting to me. So I'm like, I think everyone should do this because it's so freaking fun.
Yeah.
But, like, you can continue to look for a job, or you might want to start to create your own, you know,
Mm,
Yeah.
because freelancing is not simple. The
no.
clients don't just find you, you know.
Right.
You have to put in the work for it or join somebody who can funnel you the work, right?
Sure.
But I think that it is more stable than working for a corporation if you are in a skill set that can be
Automated.
put into, yeah, an automation. So
Mhm.
anyway, I thought that was interesting by everything that you
Yeah.
just said. If you're listening, please think about what could be freelanced, you know, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
what could be done, you know, a long career of working your life away. He hasn't completely worked his life away. Like, he's always
Yeah.
made time for his family and all of their hobbies and all of that stuff. But it's like, you could just do a little bit of work on the side and make enough to really enjoy life. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm loving this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, I think by everything we've said, it feels like a dumb question to say. Is it easier now than ever to be an entrepreneur and just start a business with a laptop? And we know that that is true. But I guess my question to you is, for those people who are doing that and
Mhm.
leveraging AI, what mistakes are you seeing
Mm.
new entrepreneurs make while they're using AI to do that?
Yeah, I think we have to remember AI is so good at a lot of things, and it's terrible at a few things as well. And I see missteps happening where you don't recognize the limitations of the AI tool and you begin to outsource too much to AI and you start to decrease your quality. I think
Mhm.
that's probably like the
Mhm.
biggest risk in this is, like, as an example, I hate reviewing contracts. I'm not a lawyer. I'm at like a very like I'm at still growing my business. I don't have enough money to have a lawyer on a retainer for me, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so I built an AI agent. That's my lawyer, you know, or my paralegal, I will say, and it takes the first pass of my contracts. Now, the thing is, I also have a wonderful neighbor who's a real lawyer. And I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this review? And she's like, ooh, there's 2 to 3 things that this missed that, like, as a human reviewer, I would make sure if I was your lawyer pushing on. And
Mhm.
so I think that's the tension and trade-off is as a solopreneur or freelancer, you don't have these huge funds that corporate does to have all of these systems in place and expertise. So leveraging AI for expertise, again, as a first draft, as a first round, and then bringing the human in as the expert at the very final point to make sure that your quality isn't low or that you actually have exposed yourself to vulnerability because of outsourcing something to AI.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
massive. I'll tell you, even just using AI for simple things, Mandy likes to give me a hard time because I'm very into plants these days, my newfound
Well,
hobby.
that's great.
But like, I will send it pictures and ask questions, and it tells me something. I'm like, but hold on a second, because a few days ago you were telling me about this plant and how it needs this, and it's like, oh yeah, you're right. And it's like, how do you? So if I can't trust you to help me take care of this dang plant that we've been having this one seamless conversation about, why in the world would I trust you to review a contract and not have an actual human look at it?
Right. I think that's right. And there's a funny thing about a plant. So I'm in Florida and I've got crepe myrtles in my backyard. And like I
Uh-huh.
had snapped a picture for
Same.
chat to like ask a question about it. And then all of a sudden, like on another side of my yard, I have the most random ass plant growing. Like I can't figure out with the life of me, like where this came from and what this is. So I snapped a picture for chat. I was like, hey, can you help me identify like what this is? It's like, oh, it's a crepe myrtle. And I'm like, wrote it back. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, why would you, there is nothing about this that's a crepe myrtle.
Right.
And it was like, oh, but I know from like last week that you have a crepe myrtle in your backyard. And I'm like, again, it's a make it because
Yeah,
the
you
whole,
didn't
again,
But
it's
even
my
this is
think
a
for a
different
second.
plant.
Yeah.
You didn't even look at
Yes.
my picture.
Right. But this is again, when you understand how statistics work, it is going to over rotate on its previous knowledge and not to get too technical, but favor those parameters. And it's going to
Mhm.
sometimes anchor back because it's all about pattern recognition. Where can I find the patterns?
Mhm.
And it's like, uh-oh, like you have lost the plot here of what is
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
happening. And so I agree. It is like it will continue to get better, but like you can't I worry people just assume it's giving you the right answer right off the bat.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. Whenever I first started using AI, it was very serious about not, they're like, we do not give medical advice, and
Yeah.
now they're
Yeah.
like, we are happy to give you
Yeah.
medical advice, so
Oh
they
yeah.
have lifted that. And now it's like, no, don't take medical advice from that. There are things
Yeah.
that you can learn, right? And then
Yeah.
as a first draft of what you're learning, but that is not, you do not have bladder cancer because of this. You know what I mean? Like you really
Yeah.
have to, you can maybe give some ideas to somebody and be like, what do
Don't
you
get a
think about this?
diagnosis from
No.
Chat
Yeah.
GPT.
No, but that's the whole thing, right? That's just an example, but
Yeah.
that's the whole thing of you can't completely trust it, but also going a different direction. Like I think that you can't take it too seriously, but you can use it to get you a lot of information,
Yeah.
like we use
Mhm.
it a lot when it comes to, I don't know, like I'm making a presentation. I'm like, tell me what's trending, right? I did a presentation this morning on what's trending
Yeah.
in 2026 on social media, and it gives me some stuff and I'm like, that all makes sense to me. I see all of that. That's what I've coached for years. But I'm like, but if that's what's trending, whenever I say, hey, I want to talk about this, because I will use it to say, give me some ideas for a great reel, for using
Sure.
using this
Okay.
topic. And it's all basic, stupid stuff that I'm like, "No, that's dumb. Nobody's gonna watch that." But it's like, but what's trending. You've told me
Yeah.
what's trending. So you, as a AI bot, what's trending. Why wouldn't you give me advice based on trending? And then I guess then you just really need to work on your prompts to make sure that it pulls from what's trending. But I do think that there's a lot with that can be really good. What I want people to know and what I taught in my class this morning is that it's still not good at pictures and it's still not good at video looking real. Don't use the AI for your pictures and videos. It's not there yet. I mean, it can be for some things probably, but like you'll still have an arm that looks like a leg. You know what I mean? Like it
Right.
still is very choppy and when it's good and when it's not. And so just use
Well,
it to its
along
best ability.
Along those same lines, I'll tell you, I see the same style of AI
That's right.
created flyer on social media all the time. And it's small businesses or individuals, entrepreneurs or whatever, hustling on the side. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I get it. It's easy, it's fast, it's free. It actually looks okay, but it's like, do you blend in with everybody
Yeah.
else? Like, I get questions all the time, like, are you worried that, in the design world and what you do, are you worried about AI taking your job? And I'm like, well, of course there's a certain element of concern because I know what it's capable of now, but I don't know how much better it's going to get.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it
Yeah.
has to get better.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, you can put 2 flyers side by side, and I can tell you which one a human made and which one was
Mhm.
AI generated. I think that a lot of people see that, and when they recognize it, I mean, you pointed it out, Gen Z
Yeah.
thinks it's all fake, and they recognize it. I think that people are doing that, and it's like, okay, well, now this business kind of appears cheap and lazy to me. I don't know if I wanna go with them. Like,
Mm.
I think it could be
Mhm.
used against us if we're
Absolutely.
doing it in the very obvious way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Mhm.
100%.
We already decided that entrepreneurship is a good, way to go in this way. And there's a lot of ways that you can use AI to help build your business. Give us your favorite ways that entrepreneurs are building a business using AI.
Man, when you think about how much money it costs, right, to actually start a business, and usually before you'd have to hire all these different people, right, to have these expertise. What
Mhm.
I'm most excited about is like you can go from day one. And to your point, I mean, you should absolutely still hire humans for the design elements, the websites that we just talked about, like anything
Yeah.
that's client facing, forward
Mhm.
facing. That's great
Yeah.
to have human intervention. But there's a lot of like administrative back office stuff, whether it comes down to, bookkeeping, even like some sales lead generation, everything that
Mhm.
can now be automated in a way that I'm still writing the email, but I'm not over here hitting send and trying to figure out a distribution list. I use HubSpot and everything is just automated and able to go. So I think that
Yeah.
ability to generate leads, cultivate leads, have more intelligence around the people you're serving is what I'm most
Mhm.
excited about. Like the market research people can do as a small business, that usually costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to do market research,
Mhm.
and only the
Right.
corporations could do that. You
Yeah.
now have access to, honestly, a lot of the same intelligence from an external market perspective. That's probably where I'm most excited about because that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's all at our fingertips if we know how to get there and what to
Yeah.
Yes,
ask.
Yeah. AI
that's right.
wasn't a big thing when I started my business 5 years ago,
Sure.
but I I had no knowledge. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
had no knowledge of how to start a business. I didn't go to business school. I didn't, my mom owned a business my whole life, but I really never asked a single question, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like I didn't know anything. But AI, especially in the last several years, has been really helpful. But just overall in general, I mean, they started to build Canva and all of those things
Yeah.
that helped me. I wouldn't have been able to do without the beginnings of AI and now
That's
fully
right.
AI. I
Yep.
like, and so much of it was trial and error. I went years without having service agreements in place and we
Yeah.
got screwed
Oh God. Okay.
several
Yeah. It's like,
times. You
whoa.
know what I mean? Like, and now we have everything in place. You have to learn and
Right.
then you have to have something teach you how to put something in place, right? It's just
Mhm.
been one little stone at a time building this up and then just having something fail and being like, okay, well now I got to learn how to do that,
Yep.
because we don't want this to fail again. And so it's possible for
Yes.
anybody to start a business now as long as they're not, you know, unwilling to work hard to figure
Oh,
things out.
absolutely. Still
But
hustle.
but as long as you're willing to learn, you can
Yeah.
start a business. Anybody can
That's right.
because there's so much help now. I feel like
Yes.
I feel like
Can
I
you
have so much more information.
can you imagine one of the very first things I did when I started Beyond the Desk was like I used chat and was like, what are the top 10 things I need to do on day one to like actually ethically,
Mhm.
legally launch an actual business? What is the right corporate structure? Is it an, LLC? Should I use an S
Mhm.
corp for tax purposes? Like, and to your point, I probably would have failed 1,000 times over. Like, I didn't even know, like, I'm getting ready to send out a newsletter. I didn't know legally you need to have like an address at the bottom of a newsletter. No one told me
Yeah.
that, but like just having all this stuff to your point, like we're going to save a generation from having all the scars from learning by experience
Yeah.
in some ways.
Yeah.
They'll get new scars, right? I'm sure there'll be bigger scars actually to be had, but like
Yeah.
it's so cool to think about what you just described of like how fast it's allowing us to be like a mature business, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
incredible.
mind-boggling, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. And so if you have been thinking about it, go out and start doing your research and figure
Yeah,
out
that's
the
right.
steps to get there, and just start doing one little thing a day to get there, because it is really nice out here, if it's the direction that makes sense for you.
Mhm.
There's hand holding. I obviously recommend a business coach. I should have done that. That was just stupid not to. But you could literally build an agent that can be your business coach too.
That's
It's
right.
not going to be perfect, but
hmm
it could be really,
Better than
really
nothing.
helpful. Yeah. So anyway, I loved this conversation. I think that AI hasn't yet become completely taboo, but it is something that is starting to be divisive, I think, for people. And I just
Absolutely.
wanted
Yeah.
to have an honest conversation about it. And I don't like to we don't like to show up on one side
Mm,
of a fight,
yeah.
but we are solidly on the side of this is inevitable.
Yeah.
And so we're going to use it to our benefit as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else,
Yeah, we
And
wanna
exactly.
survive it, but we
Yeah.
wanna more than survive it. Like, how do we thrive in an AI operating world? Because
hmm
that's coming.
Yes.
1,000%.
hmm Yep. So anyway, this is great. Thank you so much for all of this. Is there anything left that you just need people to know?
The only other thing that I'm ending podcasts on these days is to remind everyone you have agency over this moment. Like, do not let AI happen to you. You let AI
Mhm.
happen. And I think that is like the one thing we have to remind ourselves is actually how much power and control you have over this, and not to get
Yeah.
into that like helpless state that I think is very easy because it's so overwhelming how quickly the technology is changing, all of the media headlines. And honestly, that's why I wrote Reclaim the Plot, because I
Mhm.
think so many of us have lost the plot of what this moment's all about, what work's all about, and what AI is all about. So
Mhm.
it's time to reclaim it.
Yes, please
And
tell us
so,
all about your book and when it comes out and what we can expect from it.
yes. So September 29th, it drops. I'm super excited about it. I'm so excited about it because listen, we don't need another like business book. You already said, Mandy, you're falling asleep reading the leadership
Yeah.
business book. Okay. And I think this moment is so important. And I've seen the same pattern. I mean, I was at Meta and Facebook,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I worked with the executive leadership team. I was at Accenture and Deloitte, the world's largest consulting companies. And I've seen the same pattern over and over again. And so I've created a fictional company. So it's more of a fictional read than it is like your traditional business book read
Okay.
to story tell. What do you like? How do leaders go wrong in this moment? How do the workers get like so left behind in these kind of technology revolutions? And so the company's called Driftwell because it explains the drift, the delirium, and then eventually the dream of where I think we could go if we start making different choices today and start reclaiming some of that agency as individuals. So that's it in a
Very
nutshell.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm biased. I recommend it,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping it's a different style to actually capture the hearts and minds so
Mhm.
we don't lose the plot anymore of what this is all
Yeah.
about.
I love that, and I love how you wrote it. That's so cool. We will read it and
Yes.
then I'm sure
Oh,
recommend
I
it to
appreciate it.
everyone. Yeah.
It was very nice to meet you, Kelly. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your expertise. And I'm sure as time goes on and things are ever changing, maybe there'll be an opportunity to have you back and give us the
I would
update
love it.
between now and then.
That sounds
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
It's changing so fast. I'm sure you're exactly right. Well, wonderful. Everyone go have a good week, and thank you. We'll see you later.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.